California, land of sunshine, beaches, and Hollywood glamour. But beneath this dazzling facade lies a darker, more enigmatic side. That's right, folks, we're jumping headfirst into a paranormal rabbit hole, and spoiler alert, it's a long, twisty one. Because when it comes to ghostly activity, California doesn't just dabble, it delivers. Why is this going to be a long series, you ask? Well, for one thing, California is huge. We're talking about a state so massive, it could practically be its own country. And when you mix all that land, with a history rich in gold rush greed, Hollywood drama, Wild West shenanigans, and centuries of human settlement, you get more than your fair share of restless spirits. Let's just say the ghost population here is thriving. From the foggy shores of San Francisco to the sun-baked deserts of Southern California, this state is crawling with haunted hotels, spooky mansions, cursed theaters, and yes, even a ghost or two hanging around the In-N-Out burger. Okay, maybe not. But wouldn't that be on brand for California? Some places are so haunted that even the ghosts are probably over it. We'll explore the infamous, like the Winchester Mystery House, where stairs lead to nowhere and doors open into walls. Did Sarah Winchester have a screw loose? Or was she really building her house to confuse the ghosts of those killed by Winchester rifles? Who knows? But it makes for a creepy story. Then there's the Queen Mary, a retired ocean liner so haunted it might as well have its own ghost union. But this series isn't just about the famous haunts. We're going to dig deep into the lesser-known, spine-tingling tales of California's haunted past. Think small-town graveyards, cursed highways, and maybe even a ghostly taco truck. Again, kidding, but imagine the Yelp reviews. And let's not forget the people of California, who seem to have a sixth sense for spotting spirits. From psychic hotlines in LA to ghost tours in Old Sacramento, it's clear that Californians love their ghosts almost as much as they love their avocado toast. So grab your EMF detector, your sage, or just a comfy spot to sit, because this is going to be a wild ride. Whether you believe in the supernatural or just love a good scary story, there's something here for everyone. Stay tuned as we uncover the haunted history of California, one spooky tale at a time. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Welcome to Screamville. From the indigenous peoples who first walked this land to the waves of settlers who sought their fortunes during the gold rush, countless souls have left their imprint on California. And where there has been life, there inevitably follows death. Sometimes, these deaths were sudden and tragic, leaving behind raw, unresolved energy that lingers long after the physical body has passed. Yosemite Valley has been inhabited for thousands of years by indigenous peoples, particularly the Awanichi, a subgroup of the Miwok people. They called Yosemite Valley Awani, meaning place of the gaping mouth. The Awanichi lived off the land, hunting, fishing, and harvesting acorns. The area was not only a source of sustenance but also held deep spiritual significance. In the mid-19th century, European settlers and gold prospectors began arriving during the California Gold Rush, leading to violent conflicts with the Awanichi people. In 1851, the Mariposa Battalion, a militia group, entered Yosemite Valley while pursuing the Awanichi during the Mariposa Indian War. This incursion resulted in the forced removal of many indigenous people, marking a dark chapter in Yosemite's history. The beauty of Yosemite Valley quickly gained attention. In 1864, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Yosemite Grant, protecting the valley and the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias. This marked the first time land was set aside by the U.S. government for public use and preservation, laying the groundwork for the national park system. Naturalist John Muir played a crucial role in advocating for the park's expansion and protection. His writings highlighted Yosemite's ecological significance and inspired public support. In 1890, Yosemite became a national park, though it wasn't fully protected until the Yosemite Valley and Mariposa Grove were incorporated in 1906. Today, Yosemite spans over 1,200 square miles and attracts millions of visitors annually. It is renowned for its towering granite cliffs like El Capitan and Half Dome, ancient sequoias, and cascading waterfalls. Despite its popularity, the park faces challenges such as overcrowding, climate change, and the need to preserve its delicate ecosystems. Yosemite's reputation for being haunted stems from its rich history, tragic events, and indigenous legends. The Iwanichi people believed the valley was inhabited by supernatural beings. One such spirit is Pohono, thought to reside in Bridalveil Fall. It is said that anyone who approaches the fall might be swept away by malevolent forces. Another legend tells of Tiseyak, a spirit associated with Half Dome. Tiseyak was believed to be a guardian who turned into stone after a conflict with her husband, forever watching over the valley. Yosemite's dangerous terrain has claimed countless lives, from hikers falling from cliffs to drownings in the Merced River. These deaths have led to stories of ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises, and eerie feelings of being watched. Some visitors report seeing shadowy figures resembling soldiers from the 1850s, believed to be the spirits of members of the Mariposa Battalion. A ghostly figure of a woman dressed in white has been seen wandering the valley, often described as grieving or searching for something. Campers and park rangers have reported hearing disembodied voices, footsteps, and laughter in areas where no one is present. Known for its supernatural pull, some visitors feel an unexplainable compulsion to approach the fall despite its dangers. Reports of ghostly reflections and strange ripples on calm water surface at this serene lake. Located near Yosemite Village, this cemetery holds the graves of pioneers, indigenous people, and park staff. Visitors often report a chilling atmosphere and strange sightings. Yosemite National Park's haunting beauty is matched by its ghostly lore, creating an aura of mystery that resonates with visitors. From the whispers of its indigenous past to the lingering spirits of tragic accidents, Yosemite remains a place where nature and the supernatural intertwine. Whether you seek its natural splendor or its spectral inhabitants, Yosemite leaves an unforgettable impression. Calico Ghost Town, nestled in the Mojave Desert of California, is a vibrant relic of the Old West with a side of spooky tales. Founded in 1881, Calico quickly became a booming silver mining town. At its peak, it had over 500 mines and a bustling population of around 1,200 hopeful miners, saloon keepers, and no doubt a few shifty card players. It was a classic Wild West boomtown, complete with gunfights, general stores, and enough dust to fill a canyon. The town's name, Calico, came from the colorful hills surrounding it, which looked like the patchwork fabric of a calico dress. But it wasn't all fashion statements and scenic views. It was all about the silver. Calico's mines produced over $86 million worth of silver and borax. Yes, borax, so glamorous. However, as is often the case with mining towns, the silver boom didn't last. By the late 1890s, the price of silver plummeted, and the town's prosperity went down the mine shaft. Residents packed up and left faster than a gunslinger at high noon, leaving Calico eerily deserted by the early 1900s. It officially earned its ghost town title when it was abandoned. Fast forward to 1951, Walter Knott, yes, the same guy behind Knott's Berry Farm, purchased and restored the town to its former glory, or at least to its most photogenic ruins. Today, Calico is a San Bernardino County regional park and a tourist hotspot. You can stroll through the remnants of saloons, peek inside the old schoolhouse, and even go on mine tours. But beware, Calico's ghosts might just tag along. Every ghost town needs its ghosts, and Calico delivers. Legends claim that some miners, determined not to let death separate them from their precious silver, decided to haunt the place instead, just in case prices rebounded. The most famous ghost is Lucy Lane, a longtime resident who, even in death, insists on hanging around her old general store. Historical accounts suggest Lucy and her husband, John Robert Lane, operated Calico's general store together. Visitors often report seeing a shadowy figure in the windows or feeling a sudden chill, probably because Lucy doesn't appreciate people browsing without buying. Like many others, the Lanes left Calico when the town's population began to dwindle. However, they returned in 1916 after the town was abandoned and spent the rest of their lives there. Lucy lived well into her 90s before passing away. It seems fitting that Lucy's spirit might linger in the place where she spent her final years. Visitors to Calico Ghost Town often report seeing her figure moving between her former home and the general store. She is easily identified by the elegant black lace dress in which she was buried. While most sightings describe Lucy walking between the two buildings, she has also been seen inside both. Her old home, now a museum dedicated to her and her husband, is a hotspot for activity. Some visitors have claimed to see Lucy sitting in a rocking chair, gently swaying back and forth. Others report spotting her behind the counter in the general store, as if she's still tending to customers. Another paranormal hotspot in Calico Ghost Town is the old schoolhouse. While the teachers' names have been lost to history, it's believed their spirits are behind much of the supernatural activity reported there. One common claim is that the teachers can be seen standing at the schoolhouse windows, gazing out at passers-by. Visitors have also reported witnessing a mysterious red ball of light moving around inside the building, a phenomenon observed by many. The former teachers aren't the only spirits said to linger in the schoolhouse. Numerous reports describe ghostly students roaming the premises. While most of these young spirits remain elusive, one girl, estimated to be around 11 or 12 years old, is far more interactive. She often appears to children and teenagers who frequently mention seeing her. However, when their parents look, the mysterious girl seems to vanish without a trace. Another spectral tale is of Tumbleweed Harris, the last town marshal. Rumor has it he still patrols the streets, making sure the living and the dead behave themselves. So if you feel like someone's watching you as you pose for Instagram shots in front of the saloon, it might just be the ghostly sheriff ensuring you're not causing any Old West mischief. Tumbleweed is often spotted on the boardwalks of Main Street, easily recognized by his imposing stature and long white beard. If you visit, make sure to stop by his gravestone to thank him for continuing to keep the peace in Calico. While Tumbleweed is one of the most frequently seen spirits, he is far from the only one. Other notable entities include Dorsey, the mail-carrying dog, an irate cowboy who haunts Hank's Hotel, a female spirit named Esmeralda, and a woman in a flowing white dress often seen wandering the outskirts of town. Of course, Calico's ghosts aren't exactly terrifying. This isn't The Shining. They're more like old-timey roommates who forgot to move out. Imagine a miner whispering, "Boo!" as you tour the mines, only to add, "But don't forget to check out the souvenir shop on your way out." And Lucy? She's probably just upset because the general store no longer sells the good stuff like licorice sticks and pickled everything. Today, Calico is part history lesson, part haunted adventure, and all-around quirky fun. Whether you're there for the ghost stories, the Wild West reenactments, or just to see what happens when a town doesn't quite know how to quit, Calico is a must-see. So grab your cowboy hat, practice your best yeehaw, and keep an eye out for Lucy and Tumbleweed Harris. And remember, if you feel a chill, it's probably just the wind, or a ghost miner wondering if you got any silver on you. The Cecil Hotel is an infamous landmark in downtown Los Angeles, boasting a history that's as colorful as it is chilling. Built in 1924 by hoteliers William Banks Hanner and Charles L. Dix, the hotel originally aspired to be a luxurious haven for business travelers and tourists. Little did they know that their grand dream would turn into a Netflix, docuseries-worthy nightmare. Let's dive into its history and uncover why it's considered one of the most haunted hotels in the world. The Cecil was designed as a luxurious destination with opulent marble lobbies, stained glass windows, and elegant chandeliers. It opened its doors in the roaring 20s, a time when jazz was hot, flappers were wilder, and alcohol was technically illegal but everywhere. However, the Great Depression hit hard, and the Cecil's luck took a downturn. By the 1930s, the hotel's clientele shifted dramatically. No longer the preferred stop for well-heeled business types, the Cecil became a hotspot for transients and, as the years went on, a magnet for some truly unsettling activity. Picture this: a glittering lobby on the outside and a real-life version of American Horror Story lurking behind the elevator doors. There have been many unsolved mysteries and murders. Over the decades, the Cecil has been linked to numerous deaths. From people taking their own lives to unexplained deaths, the hotel has seen it all. The most notable cases include the mysterious disappearance of Elisa Lam in 2013. Security footage captured her behaving bizarrely in the hotel's elevator shortly before her body was found in the rooftop water tank. Let's just say, after that, some guests were unpleasantly surprised by their complimentary mineral water. Oh, and let's not forget Pigeon Goldie Osgood, a retired telephone operator who was brutally murdered in her room in 1964. Her killer was never caught, and her ghost is said to linger, possibly still waiting for someone to deliver her room service order. Serial killer Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, also stayed at the Cecil. The man who terrorized Los Angeles with his heinous crimes was said to have rented a room on the 14th floor, although the hotel ominously skips labeling the 13th floor. Apparently, he'd stroll back to the hotel after his gruesome deeds, sometimes covered in blood, and no one even blinked. That's the kind of neighborhood we're talking about. Not to be outdone, Austrian serial killer Jack Unterweger also stayed at the Cecil in 1991. During his stay, he committed multiple murders, proving once and for all that the Cecil Hotel might as well install a serial killer's welcome sign out front. Part of the hotel's dark reputation stems from its proximity to the notorious Skid Row. This area has long been associated with homelessness, crime, and despair, contributing to the Cecil's transformation into a low-budget hotel catering to society's fringes. Imagine trying to enjoy your continental breakfast while dodging ominous vibes and possibly a ghost. Supernatural speculation. The deaths and tragedies at the Cecil have led many to believe it's a hotspot for paranormal activity. Guests report hearing disembodied screams, seeing shadowy figures, and experiencing a general sense of dread. Is it the restless spirits of the deceased, or just the hotel's outdated air conditioning system moaning in despair? Who's to say? In 2011, the hotel rebranded itself as Stay on Main, an attempt to shed its ghoulish reputation. Nice try, but you can't rebrand the paranormal. It's like trying to slap a band-aid on a shark bite. Despite the new name, the specters of the past linger, and ghost hunters flock to the Cecil like moths to a flame, or like pigeons to Pigeon Goldie. Want to book a room at the Cecil? Check out the Ghostly Encounters package. It includes a flashlight and a discount on holy water. The elevator is also famous for being haunted, but at least the ghosts are polite enough to press the button for you. Considering its history, the Cecil Hotel might just be the only place where the Do Not Disturb sign is respected by both staff and spirits. The Cecil Hotel's reputation as a haunted hotspot is well-earned, blending decades of tragedy, a dash of true crime, and a whole lot of supernatural intrigue. Whether you believe in ghosts, or just think it's the creepiest Airbnb in town, one thing's for sure, it's not just the water that's haunted. Would you dare to stay the night? Good luck. The Colorado Street Bridge in Pasadena, California, is a striking architectural landmark with a dark and tragic history that has earned it the grim nickname. Built between July 1912 and 1913, the Colorado Street Bridge was designed to span the Arroyo Seco River. It was a point of pride for Southern California, celebrated for its elegant Beaux-Arts style and unique curved design, which accommodated the uneven topography of the Arroyo Seco. From 1926 to 1940, the bridge was part of the iconic Route 66, connecting travelers across the country. The bridge's dark chapter began in November 1919, when the first recorded death occurred. This marked the start of a tragic pattern that would continue for over a century. Between 1929 and 1939, during the Great Depression, around 50 deaths occurred as economic despair gripped the nation. From 2006 to 2016, another wave of 28 deaths were reported, highlighting the ongoing emotional struggles tied to the location. To date, more than 150 people have ended their lives at the Colorado Street Bridge. The bridge's tragic history has given rise to numerous ghost stories and paranormal reports. A woman in a long gown is said to leap from the bridge, only to vanish before hitting the ground. A mysterious man appears to passers-by, whispering cryptically, "It's her fault," but never explaining who she is. Visitors often describe a sense of unease and sadness, feeling as though they are intruding on a sacred, sorrowful space. A rumor persists that the spirit of a contractor who died during construction haunts the site, supposedly drawing individuals to their deaths. In 1993, a $27 million renovation project reinforced the structure and added barriers to deter tragedies. While barriers have reduced incidents, they haven't stopped people taking their lives entirely. Discussions about installing permanent, more effective barriers continue, despite resistance from preservationists who value the bridge's historic appearance. Despite its dark past, the bridge remains an architectural and historical landmark, attracting visitors for its beauty and eerie reputation. The Colorado Street Bridge is frequently listed among the most haunted locations in California, drawing ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. It has appeared in films, books, and paranormal documentaries, cementing its place in both historical and pop culture narratives. The bridge is emblematic of Pasadena's complex history, blending beauty with sorrow. During the day, the bridge offers stunning views of the Arroyo Seco and surrounding landscape, with its ornate arches and vintage street lamps adding to its charm. At night, the atmosphere shifts. Visitors often report an oppressive energy, enhanced by the dim lighting and eerie quietness. The bridge's story is a sobering reminder of the intersection between architectural beauty and human tragedy. Its legacy as the bridge ensures it will always be remembered for more than its stunning design. If you or someone you know is struggling, please remember that help is available. The Crisis Lifeline offers 24/7 support for anyone in need. Have you ever visited the Colorado Street Bridge or experienced its haunting atmosphere? Let us know your thoughts. The RMS Queen Mary, once a luxurious ocean liner, now one of the most famous haunted hotspots in the world. Docked in Long Beach, California, this grand old dame of the seas is like that elderly relative who has a ton of stories to tell, but insists on whispering them through creaky floors and flickering lights. Let's dive into her ghostly past and present, shall we? The Queen Mary was launched in 1936 and quickly became a beacon of luxury travel across the Atlantic. Picture it. Celebrities like Clark Gable, Winston Churchill, and even the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, sipping champagne in first class, while the rest of the passengers, well, they were probably trying to sneak a peek at the fancy folks. When World War II broke out, the Queen Mary traded her posh interior for camo paint and became the Gray Ghost, transporting troops. With a speed that could outrun enemy U-boats, she ferried tens of thousands of soldiers and became a symbol of resilience. After the war, she returned to her life of leisure until retiring in 1967, when she was permanently docked and turned into a hotel, museum, and, apparently, a ghost magnet. Oh, you mean besides the fact that a ship with decades of history is bound to have collected a few spectral stowaways? Let's just say the Queen Mary has seen more than her fair share of accidents. A young crewman was crushed to death here during a routine drill. Now his ghost likes to pop up in the engine room. Nothing says welcome to the afterlife like reliving that moment on loop. Back in the ship's glory days, this pool was where the rich and fabulous swam. Today it's home to several ghostly women in period swimsuits. They're like the OG Instagram influencers, except they haunt you instead of liking your posts. The second-class pool is no longer in existence, but the spirits apparently didn't get the memo. Kids' laughter and splashing sounds have been reported here. Ghost kids? Hard pass. During World War II, a cook was allegedly murdered by soldiers for serving bad food. Talk about your ultimate Yelp review. One day, the Queen Mary accidentally collided with the HMS Curaçao, slicing the smaller ship in half and tragically killing over 300 sailors. Some say their restless spirits followed the Queen Mary to her resting place, haunting the hallways with watery whispers. The ship's labyrinthine halls, constant creaks, and eerie atmosphere could make even the most skeptical person feel like someone's breathing down their neck. If you hear footsteps behind you in the isolation ward, don't turn around. Ghosts hate being caught mid-spook. Famous ghosts, aka the resident spook squad. Here are some of the VIPs of the Queen Mary's ghostly roster. John Petter. Remember the poor guy who got squished by door 13? He's often spotted in overalls, wandering the engine room. He might even ask you what time it is. Pro tip, don't answer. You're not trying to make ghost friends, are you? Jackie, the little girl. Jackie haunts the first-class swimming pool, giggling and calling out to people. Sweet, right? Until you realize she's been dead for decades, and you've got goosebumps in places you didn't know could tingle. The Lady in White. Because every haunted location needs a classic woman in white. She's often seen dancing in the Queen's salon, because even in death, she's fabulous. If you're feeling brave, or you just have a weird idea of fun, you can take one of the many ghost tours offered on the Queen Mary. You'll explore dark hallways, the engine room, and even the old isolation ward. Oh, and if you're thinking about spending the night, you might want to pack some sage and a nightlight. Guests have reported flickering lights, sudden cold spots, and occasionally waking up to a ghost just hanging out at the foot of their bed. Lovely. The Queen Mary isn't just haunted because of its history of tragedy. Its paranormal reputation also comes from its energy. Some believe the ship's iron structure retains spiritual vibrations. Others think it's because of all the people who visited over the years, leaving behind their own psychic imprints. Or, maybe ghosts just really like Art Deco. They say the Lady in White dances gracefully in the Queen's salon. Meanwhile, I can't even manage to dance at weddings without looking like I've been possessed. Jackie giggles and calls out for her mom. Classic kid ghost behavior. I'll bet she also haunts adults trying to enjoy their snacks in peace. If you meet John Petter in the engine room, just remember, he's not asking about the time because he's late for anything. He's already missed the boat, literally. The Queen Mary is a beautiful, historic, and undeniably spooky place. Whether you visit for the ghosts or just the incredible history, she's worth the trip. Just remember, if you feel a cold hand on your shoulder, it's probably not the air conditioning. Battery Point Lighthouse, located in Crescent City, California, is a picturesque and historic lighthouse that is also known for its reputation as a haunted site. Here's a detailed look at its history, features, and paranormal activity. Built in 1856, Battery Point Lighthouse is one of the first lighthouses constructed on the west coast of the United States. Situated on a small island just off the coast, the lighthouse is accessible by foot during low tide via a narrow land bridge. The lighthouse was manned by keepers from its inception until it was automated in 1953. It played a crucial role in guiding ships safely through the often foggy and dangerous waters of Crescent City Harbor. Today, the lighthouse operates as a museum, offering guided tours to visitors. Some areas are restored to reflect the lives of the keepers, showcasing their daily routines. Crescent City has experienced numerous tsunamis, including the devastating tsunami of 1964 caused by the Alaska earthquake. The lighthouse withstood the disaster and became a symbol of resilience for the local community. The haunting reputation of Battery Point Lighthouse stems from both its history and the experiences reported by visitors and staff. Several visitors and lighthouse keepers have reported sightings of shadowy figures, believed to be former keepers or their families. Items within the lighthouse, such as books and furniture, have been seen moving on their own. Many have heard unexplained footsteps echoing through the lighthouse's upper floors even when no one else is present. Witnesses have reported seeing strange lights or glowing orbs in and around the lighthouse, especially at night. Sudden drops in temperature and the sound of voices whispering or calling have been experienced even when the lighthouse is closed to the public. Some believe the spirits may belong to former lighthouse keepers or their family members who lived and died there. The isolated and challenging nature of the job could have left a strong imprint on the location. One popular legend speaks of a former lighthouse keeper who continues to watch over the lighthouse long after his death. His presence is said to be protective rather than malicious. Visitors have reported hearing the giggling of children or feeling the playful tug of invisible hands. These accounts suggest that children who once lived at the lighthouse may still linger. Crescent City's tumultuous waters have claimed numerous lives over the years. Some believe the spirits of those who perished in shipwrecks near the lighthouse may wander the area. The lighthouse is open to the public as a museum and offers tours during low tide. These tours provide a glimpse into the life of 19th and early 20th century lighthouse keepers and their families. The lighthouse's charm, coupled with its eerie stories, draws visitors looking for both historical and paranormal experiences. Battery Point Lighthouse is not just a historic landmark. It has become a focal point for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. It has been featured in various documentaries and investigations focused on haunted locations. Whether you're intrigued by its rich maritime history or the tales of its ghostly inhabitants, this lighthouse continues to captivate visitors from around the world. The Glen Tavern Inn, located in Santa Paula, California, was built in 1911 during the height of the oil boom. Designed by architect Burns and Hunt, the Tudor craftsman-style hotel catered to wealthy oil executives, travelers, and dignitaries visiting the burgeoning city, which was known as the citrus capital of the world. The inn quickly became a social hub for the region. During the Prohibition era, 1920 to 1933, the hotel gained a reputation for clandestine activities. Rumors suggest that the third floor was transformed into a speakeasy, brothel, and gambling den. This period of illicit behavior added to its colorful and eventually haunted legacy. After decades of operation, the inn experienced a decline but was restored in the 1980s and has since regained its charm. Today, it is a functioning hotel known for its historic character and paranormal activity. The Glen Tavern Inn's long history, including its association with crime, death, and scandal during the Prohibition era, has contributed to its haunted reputation. Several paranormal events have been reported over the years, leading ghost hunters and curious visitors to flock to the inn. The most infamous room, said to have been part of the brothel. Legend has it that a prostitute was murdered in this room during the Prohibition era. Her restless spirit is said to still linger, and guests report cold spots, unexplained noises, and the feeling of being watched. A ghostly cowboy dressed in full Western attire is often seen on the third floor. Some believe he was a gambler who met a violent end during a dispute over a card game. Guests and staff have reported hearing the laughter of children and seeing small, ghostly figures running through the hallways. A mysterious apparition of a woman in a white dress has been spotted in various parts of the inn, especially near the staircase. She is believed to be tied to the brothel's tragic history. Lights flicker, objects move on their own, and strange noises echo through the hallways. The third floor is particularly active, with doors slamming shut and disembodied voices heard. The Glen Tavern Inn has been featured on several paranormal TV shows, including Ghost Adventures, which highlighted the inn's third floor as a hotspot for supernatural activity. Paranormal enthusiasts claim the building has an unusually high concentration of energy, possibly due to its history of illicit activities and untimely deaths. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Glen Tavern Inn remains a popular destination for thrill seekers and history buffs. Guests hoping for a paranormal experience often request room 307, where the majority of ghostly encounters are said to occur. In the heart of Hollywood, where dreams are made and legends are born, lies a final resting place as glamorous and enigmatic as the city itself, Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Here, amidst the ornate mausoleums and towering palm trees, the stars of the silver screen find their eternal rest. But for some, death seems to be just another act in their captivating stories. Whispers of restless spirits and unexplained occurrences have transformed Hollywood Forever Cemetery into a destination for both history buffs and those seeking a brush with the supernatural. Among the cemetery's most famous residents is Rudolph Valentino, the silent film icon whose untimely death at the age of 31 sparked mass hysteria among his devoted fans. Even today, fans leave offerings of flowers and love letters at his tomb, hoping to catch a glimpse of his spectral form. Another restless spirit said to roam the cemetery is that of Clifton Webb, the Oscar-nominated actor known for his sophisticated demeanor. Reports of a tall, distinguished figure matching Webb's description, often seen strolling through the cemetery's gardens, have persisted for decades. And then there's the haunting melody of a violin, said to emanate from the tomb of violinist Jacob Hahn. Legend has it that Hahn requested his violin be entombed with him, and those who linger near his resting place claim to hear the faint strains of his music carried on the night air. Hollywood Forever Cemetery, one of the most iconic cemeteries in Los Angeles, is not only a resting place for numerous celebrities, but is also steeped in history and paranormal lore. The cemetery is located near the Paramount Studios lot, making it a central landmark in Hollywood history. By the mid-20th century, the cemetery had fallen into disrepair due to mismanagement and financial troubles. It was purchased in 1998 by Tyler Cassidy, who revitalized the grounds, turning it into a cultural hub with events like movie screenings and concerts. It was also renamed Hollywood Forever Cemetery to reflect its historical importance. The cemetery's connection to the entertainment industry has cemented its place in popular culture. The cemetery is believed to be haunted due to its long history, famous residents, and tragic stories. The spirit of silent film star Rudolph Valentino is one of the most famous ghosts said to haunt Hollywood forever. Visitors often report seeing a shadowy figure near his tomb, sometimes accompanied by the scent of roses, possibly a tribute to the Lady in Black, a mysterious woman who famously visited his grave for years. Near the Fairbanks Memorial, visitors have reported hearing the sound of a woman crying. Some believe this is the spirit of a mourner who lost a loved one and now wanders the cemetery in grief. People frequently report strange lights, disembodied voices, and shadowy figures, especially during the evening hours. These phenomena are often attributed to the restless spirits of those buried there. Judy Garland was interred at Hollywood Forever in 2017, years after her death, in a dedicated mausoleum. Since then, some visitors have claimed to feel an unexplained presence or hear faint singing in the area, which they attribute to the iconic star. Hollywood Forever shares a boundary with Paramount Studios, leading some to believe that the spirits of deceased actors and crew members linger between the two locations. Workers at the studio have reported eerie encounters with unexplained figures that seem to originate from the cemetery. Many of the individuals buried at Hollywood Forever faced untimely or tragic deaths, such as people taking their own lives, overdoses, and murders. The emotional intensity of these events is thought to contribute to the paranormal energy. Hollywood Forever Cemetery is unique because it doubles as an active cultural site. Events like the Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead celebrations, bring thousands of people to honor the spirits of the departed. Some believe this activity stirs the spiritual energy, leading to an increase in paranormal experiences. Hollywood Forever Cemetery remains a fascinating blend of history, Hollywood glamour, and ghostly intrigue. Its timeless appeal lies not only in its celebrity graves, but also in the mysterious stories that keep visitors intrigued, and occasionally a little spooked. High atop a hill overlooking Ione, California, stands Preston Castle, a once grand structure now crumbling under its dark history. Built in 1893 as a reform school for troubled boys, it quickly gained a reputation for cruelty and despair. The castle was designed to rehabilitate juvenile offenders through education, trade skills, and farming rather than incarceration. The school officially opened on July 1, 1894, and housed boys convicted of minor crimes or considered at-risk youth. At its peak, it housed hundreds of boys, some of whom became skilled workers. However, life inside was far from ideal. Stories of abuse, harsh punishment, and forced labor were common. The castle ceased operations in 1960 when the school transitioned to newer facilities, and the main building was abandoned. The structure fell into disrepair, but it remains a significant historical landmark. Today, Preston Castle stands abandoned, a haunting reminder of a time when children were treated harshly. For those who dare to venture inside, it is a portal to a past filled with pain and restless spirits. Preston Castle is rumored to be one of the most haunted places in California. Its eerie reputation stems from the tragic events and hardships that occurred during its operation. Many believe that the pain and suffering experienced by the boys left a lasting imprint on the building. Anna Corbin, the castle's head housekeeper, was brutally murdered in 1950 inside the building. She was found strangled and stuffed into a closet in the basement. Although several suspects were identified, her case remains unsolved to this day. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported hearing Anna's footsteps, feeling cold spots, and sensing her presence in areas she frequented. The boys in the school often endured harsh punishments, physical abuse, and neglect. Many were reportedly subjected to solitary confinement in the dark, damp basement. These conditions have led to claims that the spirits of some boys who suffered there linger in the castle. Apparitions seen in windows or hallways, often described as shadowy figures, or young boys in old-fashioned clothing. Mysterious sounds, like doors slamming, footsteps, and whispers, are common. Poltergeist activity, such as objects moving or being thrown. A small cemetery exists on the castle grounds where some boys who died while at the school were buried. These deaths include illnesses like tuberculosis or injuries sustained while working. The unmarked graves contribute to the sense of unease and mystery. Preston Castle has been the focus of numerous paranormal investigations, including appearances on shows like Ghost Adventures and The Dead Files. Investigators have recorded electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, captured strange images, and experienced unexplainable sensations during their visits. Preston Castle's dark history, tragic events, and lingering sense of suffering have made it a hub for paranormal activity. Whether or not the hauntings are real, the castle remains a hauntingly beautiful relic of California's past and a magnet for those intrigued by the supernatural. The Hotel del Coronado, a sprawling Victorian landmark overlooking the Pacific Ocean in San Diego, California, has been a playground for the rich and famous since its grand opening in 1888. But beneath its opulent facade and glamorous history lies a darker side, a collection of ghost stories and unexplained occurrences that have haunted its halls for over a century. The most famous of the Del's spectral residents is Kate Morgan, a young woman who checked into the hotel in 1885 under an assumed name. Kate, pregnant and abandoned by her lover, tragically took her own life on the hotel's grounds, and her spirit is said to linger in the guest room where she spent her final days. Guests have reported a range of unexplained phenomena in Kate's former room, from flickering lights and malfunctioning electronics to disembodied voices and the feeling of being touched by unseen hands. But Kate's ghost is not alone. Over the years, guests and staff have reported encounters with a variety of otherworldly entities, from a playful child who delights in moving objects and turning lights on and off, to a stern-looking gentleman in a top hat who is believed to be the ghost of a former hotel manager. Some guests embrace the hotel's haunted reputation, booking rooms in the hope of a ghostly encounter. Others, perhaps less enthused by the prospect of sharing their vacation with spirits, request room changes, their sleep disturbed by unexplained noises or the feeling of being watched. Whether you believe in ghosts or simply appreciate a good ghost story, the Hotel del Coronado's long history of spectral guests and unexplained occurrences adds a layer of intrigue to this already captivating landmark, reminding us that even in the most glamorous of settings, the past has a way of making itself known. The Roosevelt Hotel, located in Hollywood, California, is a historic landmark and an iconic part of Los Angeles' entertainment history. Opened on May 15, 1927, the hotel was named after President Theodore Roosevelt and was financed by prominent film industry figures including Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford, and Louis B. Mayer. With its lavish Spanish colonial revival style, the hotel quickly became a hub for Hollywood's elite. The hotel hosted the first-ever Academy Awards ceremony in 1929 in its Blossom Ballroom. Over the decades, it became a favorite spot for celebrities such as Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, Charlie Chaplin, and Carole Lombard. Marilyn Monroe's first commercial photo shoot took place at the hotel's poolside, and she lived in Suite 1200 during her early career. By the 1950s and 1960s, the hotel had begun to lose its luster as Hollywood's focus shifted elsewhere. In the mid-1980s, a restoration project costing $35 million brought the Roosevelt back to its former glory. The Roosevelt Hotel has a reputation as one of the most haunted locations in Los Angeles, with numerous reports of paranormal activity tied to its glamorous past. Guests and staff claim to have seen Marilyn Monroe's reflection in a mirror that was once in her suite. Her presence is often felt near the Tropicana Pool Cafe and the mirror, now displayed in the hotel's lobby. The spirit of actor Montgomery Clift is said to haunt room 928, where he stayed while preparing for his role in From Here to Eternity. Guests report hearing him practicing his trumpet or feeling an unexplained presence in the room. The venue of the first Academy Awards is known for unexplained cold spots, footsteps, and shadowy figures. Some believe the spirits of early Hollywood icons linger there. A young girl wearing a blue dress has been seen wandering the hallways and the lobby, adding an eerie touch to the hotel's mystique. Other strange occurrences include elevators operating on their own, disembodied laughter, and objects moving mysteriously. The Roosevelt Hotel remains a functioning hotel and a popular destination for visitors drawn by its rich history and paranormal reputation. Its blend of old Hollywood glamour and ghostly lore makes it a unique landmark where the past truly feels alive, sometimes literally. If you enjoyed part 1 of this haunted journey through California, please be sure to subscribe and be on the lookout for part 2 of this series. As always, thanks for watching.